tensions high between the U.S. and China. Why is Communist China called an existential threat to freedom? What makes the threat unique? We spoke with national security analyst Casey Fleming, who's also the CEO of Black Ops Partners and author of the upcoming book, The Red Tsunami, The Silent Storm Killing Your Freedom, for insights. Over the years, we've seen lots of different people, lots of different administrations, heads of intel, all of that saying that, communist China is a rising or the biggest existential threat, different terms in that light. But you have all these different administrations, for one, agencies kind of tackling it like a game of whack-a-mole, right? It's like, oh, there's this issue, there's chips, there's AI, there's intellectual property threat, there's old defense, there's espionage, like all these different angles. You, of course, have had you on multiple times throughout the years. You connect the dots to try and get that big picture and really show the threat. And on that note, I see right behind you, but you do have a forthcoming book called The Red Tsunami, The Silent Storm Killing Your Freedom. Talk to us about that. What is the storm and what are the freedoms at risk here?
Well, the storm is freedom. Freedom is at the center of that storm. When I speak, everybody asks, there's always two questions. Where's your book? And I'm not a book guy. Where's your book? And then what can I do tomorrow morning? What can I do next week? Give me things to do to help fix this and to get us out of the pickle that we're in. So I decided that I was waiting for somebody to write the book. Nobody would write the book. So I ended up having to do it myself. It's going to be, you can pre-order it now by going to theredtsunami.com. And it'll be launched the week of January 20th, which is a Tuesday. But I connect the dots. We connect the dots, which everybody's asked. They've demanded this book out of me for years. And I always thought somebody was going to put this book together, and they never did. Now, other people have written excellent books in and around the subject, but nobody has ever tied everything together for the common man. And that's what this book is. So this book should be, by the way, it's not really a book. It's a survival guide. And it is based 100% on intelligence. It's not opinion. It is not political. Because it's intelligence, it rides 2 or 3 levels above politics. So the premise is that we on the left, the center, and the right have much more in common together than we have with our enemy. And our number one enemy, according to the director of the FBI, the previous director of the FBI, and the current director of the FBI, the number one threat to the future of the United States is communist China. The CCP is through all fibers of our country. They're inside our borders, and it needs to be rooted out. There are even intelligence reports that there are over 200,000 CCP and PLA, that's their army, special forces inside U.S. borders. That's 200,000. That's the size of Salt Lake City or Akron, Ohio. And they are in sleeper cells waiting to be activated. On top of all the farmland that's been purchased, all it takes is a couple of buried containers, shipping containers full of drones on those properties. And then you've got these sleeper cells with 200,000 PLA soldiers, special ops soldiers, and then you've got Chinese truck drivers that can drive around the United States and move these guys because they don't have to prove any kind of ID. They're just Chinese truck drivers to drive around troops, drones, shipments unnoticed. So it's a lot easier to set up behind the enemy lines than to do it after the war has started. And I hate to speak about so drastically and seriously, but I've been, my team and I have been on this for 15 years, and it hasn't changed. It's just become very, very serious at this point in time.
Why is China the biggest threat? What's unique about this threat?
China, number one, there's only one China, and it's completely controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, a communist totalitarian regime. They've been after the United States to completely control the world ever since 1949, when they actually came into power. Their anniversary is 2049, that they plan on completely dominating and controlling the entire planet. We know that they're way ahead on that mission. They've also partnered with the World Economic Forum and a lot of other entities to replace the United States. Well, when they replace the United States, they're not talking about coexistence. They're talking about complete and utter domination, which means your children, my children, everybody in the United States and the free world will become slaves to the Han Chinese. So what's changed is we've built this monster. We've built this enemy. They cannot exist with freedom. Communism and freedom, communism and liberty are oil and water. They can never coexist. So you're going to have an ultimate showdown at some point. You're having it now with unrestricted warfare, but we've already seen biological warfare with COVID. That's just part A. There's going to be part B and part C on biological warfare. You've seen agro type of issues where they're bringing in biohazard seeds, biohazard fungus, biohazard blights, all these type of things. They are at war with the United States, and we don't understand it. The average American doesn't understand it, and that's the reason for the book. So we've created this monster. It's the second largest economy now in the world. They know they can't exist with the United States. They hate the United States. They teach their kids that they're white pigs in the United States. So, we're not seeing that in the average American's not seeing that because mainstream media is compromised. And mainstream media only shows you the narrative that they want you to see. And it's none of what I'm talking about here. And that's the reason for the book. Quite honestly, it needs to be in every mailbox, every school, every university, every hospital reading, doctor's office reading. The book needs to be everywhere so people can understand how to decipher and decode this chaos that they put us in. And it also maintains your critical thinking so you can actually navigate going forward through all this chaos. And it's not going to stop until, honestly, Americans in the free world unite. And that's the reason we've also done a movement. It's called freedomforever.global. It's in development right now, but that's also something for people to do immediately. Read the book, join the movement, and all of us will be voting. We vote every day. Americans vote every day. How? Through their wallets. So we will not do business. We will recommend not doing business with companies that are pro-CCP, invested heavily in the CCP, and focus on those American companies, or second level, those free world allied companies that they're building this whole bipolar world. When you hear multipolar, that's what Xi Jinping and the Russians want you to see. They want to say multipolar world. No, don't buy it.
Shifting to the UK, a China-related spying case is in the spotlight. The case has collapsed, putting the British government under pressure over national security concerns. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said Wednesday he'll release evidence given to prosecutors by a senior official.
The final statement in this case was submitted in August 2025. There was no further submission of evidence, one way or the other, after any discussion in September. This is a red herring, a completely scurrilous allegation made by the Leader of the Opposition.
And let me be clear, Mr. Speaker, about what has happened. A serious case involving national security has collapsed because this government is too weak to stand up to China. And if the Prime Minister cannot protect the members of this House, what does that say about his ability to protect this country?
In an unexpected move last month, Britain's Crown Prosecution Service dropped charges against two men. The pair denied passing politically sensitive information to a Chinese intelligence agent. The prosecution said the decision was made because the evidence it needed was not provided by the government after months of effort. This evidence would clarify that China was a threat to the UK's national security. Starmer said the fault lay with the previous Conservative administration, which was in power when the men were charged. The trial's collapse led to accusations from opposition parties saying the government did not want to jeopardize ties with China.
Supply chain. Other countries are likely to develop theirs as well, so we must move in that direction.
When production ramps up later this year, GM will be the only U.S. automaker with a large domestic supply. Beijing is tightening its export controls on rare earth minerals. Taiwan says the new rules are not going to significantly affect chip production.
Semiconductors don't seem directly affected at this point, as most rare earth-related purchases are indirect. Materials from Japan, equipment from the U.S., and few direct imports from China. Indirect repercussions may still occur.
Taiwan said the direct impact is likely on motors, especially high-speed ones used in drones and other industries. A Ministry of Economic Affairs official added that Taiwan will also work to build its own rare earth supply chain.
For example, we're using government technology projects to help establish a rare earth supply chain. Other countries are likely to develop theirs as well, so we must move in that direction too.
Taiwan is home to the world's largest contract chipmaker, TSMC, that produces the vast majority of advanced chips that are a key component of AI applications. OpenAI